Heyo, Outliers. Kelsie Furst is the mouthpiece for human emotion, the rare artist who can make you feel a thing that has no words through sound alone. A Scottish Highland dancer who fell for opera, joined a company from the very bottom of the chorus, auditioned 8 months pregnant, and now runs the same company as its executive and artistic director. She has always risen the same way by being the one you can count on, taking whatever role she is handed and making it shine. So what happens when a woman like that stops asking what she is good at and start asking what she actually wants? Let's get into the room and find out. Oh, hello there, Outliers. Niiamah Ashong here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey. Today, we are going to be in co-creation with none other than Kelsie Furst. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for showing up in the world with in such an outlierly way, and for making sure that you and others' voices like literally get heard out there. So it's good to be in space with you.
Thank you, Niiamah, for having me on. I'm really excited
Yeah.
about today.
So am I. So am I. So, Kelsey, would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Yes, well, I think that the game that I'm currently playing started, its origin story began probably when I was 3 years old, and I'm now 35. And that was the first time I experienced live theater, specifically the Nutcracker Ballet at the Colorado Ballet um, down in Denver. And I was just transported and so focused on the visual art form that theater is. I mean, the full encompassing art form that theater is. And so I actually started and began my journey as a dancer. So I was actually a Scottish Highland dancer, which is a very niche, very unique cultural thing. My family is from Scotland. My grandmother is from Edinburgh. So that was kind of the natural fit for me. So I grew up doing competitive dance and I danced until the age of 11. I traveled, I competed in Scotland, I traveled and did stuff internationally, and then here back in the States. And I was competing all summer long, working with a dance coach every week. And then when I got to, I would say probably fourth or fifth grade, I really discovered that I loved singing. And so I joined local choirs and got really involved in school productions. This is kind of the common thread with a lot of other singers and creatives. You kind of get into one thing. And I left the competitive performing and dancing world to follow my really what I my bigger love was singing. I felt like I could really express myself creatively, singing in a way that was more authentic to just getting everything that I had in me out there. And so I continued singing through all through high school, and then when I got to college, like a lot of families, my family would they were kind of like, should you do this professionally or should you go get a degree that you can use in the real world? And so I got to that place where I stopped for a little bit and then I took a semester in college and decided I had to take at least like one performing class. So I took one performing class and that led to voice lessons and that led to I haven't stopped taking voice lessons for the past 15 years. That led to me learning my first aria when I think I was probably 20 and really falling in love with classical music and the challenge that is. I think of opera singing as like you are a vocal athlete, like you're a vocal marathon runner. So it's requires so much of you, your body, your physicality, but so much of your mind too. And then getting to work with that and create characters and translate what human beings experience emotionally onto the stage through kind of we're like the mouthpiece for human emotion is kind of how I like to put it. Even when there aren't words there, you can feel the feeling through the sound. So I fell in love with opera, um, and it wasn't immediate. I would say I kind of explored and dipped my toes into other genres, but I just always wanted to keep coaching because I think it was the most challenging thing I had done was singing opera. That led to me auditioning for my first opera when I was 25. I was pregnant at the time, and I was accepted into the chorus, and it was with Loveland Opera Theater, which is the company that I'm now the executive and artistic director for. So I started in like the lowest kind of place in my mind, in my perception, that you could start and really worked my way from the bottom up I continued to audition for all of the productions that they had. I got involved with other opera companies in the area. Having kids here, I kind of am rooted in Fort Collins, Loveland, Colorado area because I just I have a family and they're in school and I have four kids. So I auditioned for everything. I would sing in operas and programs 8 months pregnant, sometimes do auditions 8 months pregnant, and kind of made myself always take whatever was going on personally and letting that inform my art. I joined the board of directors for Loveland Opera Theater. I ran a different company that had nothing to do with opera for a couple of years. And then I did voice coaching with the founder of Loveland Opera Theater, and she was my voice teacher, has been my voice teacher for 10 years now. And she, when I joined the board of directors and had been on the board for so long, she um, asked me when she was ready to retire if I would come on and be the executive and artistic director for Loveland Opera Theater. So I know I focused a lot on the artistic journey and not as much on the professional, but that really is why I'm in the place that I am as a leader, is I think I've just always I've always led with my love of what I'm doing, and I'm developing the leadership and the business side of what I'm doing kind of as I go through this journey and process. So,
Something I really appreciate about you is that I feel that you're giving us a chance to like really just see you and experience you. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't feel like there's like a wall of any kind of thing. It feels like it just feels like it feels very very open and such. So I just want to just like reflect that back in right here. Um and so I hear you. So I have a young one right now. She's
mhm.
3,
Yeah.
and she's singing all over and she's dancing all this. And I'm like, oh man, there's a whole journey
hmm
involved in this. I'm
hmm
hearing that over time, like you're always like directionally in the place that you wanted to go in,
hmm
and then over time you were able to calibrate more and more and more to what it is that called you,
hmm
and like and even when you stepped away, you didn't cut it off. You're like, all right, well, I'll take a class, I'll take a bit
hmm
here, I'll get coaching, so on and so forth. I used to sing in a barbershop chorus, 4-part
hmm
harmony, and it's been a long time since I sang, and like I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like I'm like, all right, so vocal coaching might be where like the way back in. Come like I can do that with my schedule right now, and then
Yeah.
let it take things from there. You know,
Yep.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Like so, like when you think about your journey, what would you say has been like two things that have really made it like made it stand out for you?
Hmm. I think in my journey, and because people might ask like why were you chosen or why are you the right fit to lead a company
Mm,
without the academic background, necessarily. I mean, a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing they've been in music conservatory, they've taken a really straight and narrow path to get where they are, like they did the right things. And I
mm,
think that the things that stand out to me about me getting to where I am is just in every job I've ever had, I've started from like, I used to work in restaurants. So I would start as the hostess and then I kept always just showing up and being dedicated to whatever I've been doing and putting in the work. And then I'm the person that they can depend on. And I think just in showing up and being willing to play the long game instead of expecting certain things just because you're there. There's always kind of been this like I have something to prove and I'm going to do it through hard work and through loyalty to especially this company. So I think that that's been a big lesson for me, is like it might seem like you're not moving the bar forward at all. And sometimes it even feels like there are setbacks, or there are always shows that I go for a role, I get rejected. Rejection is something that's so common in this art form. But it's like how you bounce back and how you recognize new opportunities for growth or things that you can change and realizing the things that you can't change. So I think that those are big lessons that I've learned throughout this journey and process. The other one, what I would say, would be boundaries,
Yeah.
creating boundaries
Yeah.
in a leadership role. So
You have a lot of life with you, right? You said you have 4 kids right now.
yeah.
Like you weren't planning on taking on this role, right? If I'm getting you right, like that was like the opportunity came and you're like you stepped into it. Let me make sure I'm not speaking too much into.
Yeah, it wasn't like I think that my what I want to do with my life is be the executive and artistic director of an opera company. It wasn't an obvious thing for me. Now,
Mhm.
if you listen to colleagues of mine or people that I was on the board of directors with, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a good fit. How did you not see yourself there?" And
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting because I think that I'm not the person typically, although I'm a performer, I'm not the person who's like, the spotlight needs to be on me all the time. In
Mhm.
fact, when I go into a new environment, I'm like pretty quiet. I'm a little bit more of a wallflower in a big group of people. I absorb a lot of the energy of the space that I'm in and kind of like see how I fit in that ecosystem. So I think that's probably something that got me into this leadership role. I don't think I've like, I'm going to be a leader and I'm going to do all these things. It's kind of been like people have asked me to step into that position, um, which is really, I don't want to let anybody down. I feel like I hold a
Yeah.
lot of responsibility in the just having people that trust me. So,
Mhm.
because it's taking a chance when you put somebody that doesn't follow the normal path into a position of leadership, because
Well,
there
this
might
is
be a little more of a wild card, you know?
yeah. Well, this is Outliers Ed. So
Yeah,
none of
yeah,
us here are following that normal path.
yeah.
Like you're like yeah. So
Hmm.
like I wasn't like, but what I also love is like this element I call like what if you're already ready? The already
Hmm.
ready.
Hmm.
Like it was like you didn't see it, but it was didn't mean it wasn't available to you. I feel like that's one
Hmm.
of the things that's like we're about to shift gears and we're gonna go into like the coaching part of the conversation. But I think that's like one of the things that is hard to pin down for us as outliers, right? Because it's like there's something about like the core way that we get things done that actually allows us to be successful in a lot of different areas. And what I'm hearing from you is like it's like there's a humility to just start wherever you start, you know,
Hmm.
to bring a strong work ethic, dedication, loyalty to the thing, and like you keep rising up in the ranks because like that's just what you do with the way that like this like whatever if we put you on a bobsled team
Hmm.
something similar would happen, you know, like
Potentially.
I was like, what's the most random thing I can think of right now? Because I'm like, I don't know. I like it could work. It could work.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that that's really great. And in this next part of the conversation, I think what's going to happen, I have to see my balance with this because what I get is because you're so excellent, this is the story I'm telling myself. Because you're so excellent, people are able to come and say, we could really use excellence here. And like you do what you do and you show up and you shine. Right.
Hmm.
And so while we move into this next part of the conversation, usually I'm like, oh, let's go like expand visions. Let's go. Let's play with this and go in different
Hmm.
ways. Um, I'm already getting the sense of like, all right, like I want to see how I play with that and maybe
Hmm.
a potentially different way here.
Hmm.
And I know what I'm trying to say. I think the biggest thing for me would be what does Kelsey want? Not like what's available for Kelsey that I think she'll do great in because what I'm getting from you is like no matter like if you're auditioning like pregnant like I haven't done anything pregnant you know like let alone you know so there's something in here that really feels that like as we have this conversation this upon recorded conversation
Hmm.
I'll be listening with the ear of like well what is it that Kelsey wants because no matter what you're going to be successful at it you just keep proving that you know and so it's like I think that's going to be a fine line to walk. You down to play with that? You mind if I have that lens on when we talk? I don't know how it's going to show up, but do you mind if I have it on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
All right, cool. So what we're going to do now is I'd like you to make sure that outliers get a chance to know how they can go deeper down the journey with you. Like let's make sure that they're taken care of. So
Yeah.
if someone wants to go more into your world, wants to find out more about what you're doing, or wants to know more about your company and beyond, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can check out for our company, they can check out lovelandoperatheater.org. That's our website. That will give you the full season programming, everything that we're doing this season. We have an upcoming um, song festival at Grimm Brothers Brewery in Loveland, Colorado. That's on July 19th. And we're doing it's musical tales of the New World. So we're celebrating the anniversary of the US and Colorado becoming a state. And we're doing all Western music. And we've invited when I say Western, it's not all cowboy, cowgirl, it's Americana themed music, musical theater pieces, some traditional opera pieces. We have some Puccini, La Fanciulla del West. We have some Ballad of Baby Doe for those opera lovers out there. There's a little something for everybody. And we've invited a lot of our companies in the area to come be a part of the festival. So we have sponsorship of it by a generous donor, and we just want to give everybody else a platform that our local creators to come share what they're doing and their musical, kind of their interpretation of what the program is that fits in within their company's niche. So we have a guitar and song circle, we have a member from Colorado Brass, and we have Art Song Colorado. So they're doing all arts, like a full art song program. So that's kind of what's up next for us and what I'm working on in the next couple of weeks. You can follow me personally on Instagram at Kelsie Furst Soprano. I will just tell you now that most of my focus goes into the company, Instagram, and curation and all of that. So I don't have a ton that I post personally on my page. I am, however, working on a blog called Whispers from the Wings that I'm hoping to share and get out there later this year. So that will be kind of more of an insider glimpse into the industry that you don't always hear from a leader within it. Oh, I can't hear you.
This show how interesting, right?
Yeah.
In a world of opera and singing, like I'm
Mhm.
now talking while muted. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm
Mhm.
glad to hear this year. Outliers, we have our charge and our quest here. So let's go deeper down the journey and continue to grow together. Kelsey, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put Outliers to the side, right?
Okay.
They're like they've gotten it. They're now gonna get a seat here. Like you said, whisper in the wings. They're gonna get a seat on the
Mhm.
wings here to
Mhm.
watch the show. But like this is it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, that being said, when I say the show, I got to be careful about this because I don't want either of us to have to perform. I want it to be like two real
Yeah.
people that's in here. I say this like we'll have the conversation like if like we do not need to release it like and we should both be in agreement that like it should be released like that way we don't have to like worry about
Yeah.
anything. We don't have to be useful. Like they will get what they will
Yeah.
get from it.
Yeah.
like I've learned the more that I try to be useful in this thing, the further off I am from what actually like lights up and lines up.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to hide nothing and hold nothing back in this conversation. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. And I'm here to serve you rather than please or platform you. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And last thing here, I told you this beforehand. I have a track record of having life changing conversations. Like that's what I do, right? And at this point, I'm
Mhm.
like, why would I have anything less than that? So you open
Yeah.
to this being a positively life changing conversation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so life changing is on the table here. For you personally, and Kelsey, if this was going to be a life changing conversation where you came back a couple of years later and you're like, yeah, like you said life changing, but I didn't get it. Like
Mhm.
everything went in the positive direction from there.
Mhm.
What would we need to talk about to help us get there?
I think what we would talk about would be ways in which I can channel my energy into projects that are going to be the most fulfilling for me.
Mm,
So, not necessarily the role that I'm told I'm good at playing, but
mhm.
the role that feel that I get the most personal fulfillment and gratification out of.
Yeah,
Um, when I say role, that could be producer, director, whatever it is. It's kind of
yeah,
helping me channel and figure where I'm at now because there
yeah.
are so many irons in the fire and I don't
Mm,
quite know like what is going to leave me after I'm done with whatever project that is. What is it going to leave me feeling so inspired that I'm like I have to have that feeling again because I
mm,
think that there's a lot of those like small moments throughout my history of performing that brings me back to performing, but how do I really invest in the things that will bring me the most fulfillment personally, not
okay.
professionally.
If you're a leader with a track record of success and there's a vision you're ready to bring to life that feels outrageous right now, I have an invitation for you. Outliers Edge is a world for different minded, like hearted leaders who are owning what makes them different to make a world of difference. And at the center of that world is a weekly coaching room where we bring the visions that just won't leave us alone. We get coached, stay accountable, and build alongside others, creating something different. If you're pursuing something that's too big, too early, or too improbable for most rooms, this is your room. Go to outliersedge.com/world and come in as my guest. Yes, 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 yes. So let me ask you here, because I hear this and I'm like, you seem to have like shared the journey of this over
Hmm.
time with us, like
Hmm.
when I was listening to your story earlier, right? So you
Hmm.
like, I hear you agreeing. So let me just check in. How have you done it in the past? And if it
Um,
helps out, like I'll point out some different examples of what you told me. Let me know if that helps.
I think with performing specifically, there's so much intrinsic motivation that I have to just keep going. It's like not a
Hmm.
choice, it's a feeling I have to do this. And I
Mm.
sat out the first opera that I didn't perform in because it was my first opera, full scale, big main stage production that I was
Yeah,
fully the producer of.
yeah,
Um, and I didn't perform in it. And I was so proud of everybody's creativity. Like it was a resounding success. We had people that came and saw it 2 weekends in a row. So all of the check marks, like all of the boxes for me should have felt like, okay, I did this, I succeeded. But I think that in the ways that I would measure success as far as a production goes, those weren't the things that made me feel like I was a piece of this, like a really important piece of this work, which was so
yeah,
interesting because a lot of other people can tell you that, but I think that I felt less than the artist creating, even though I'm the artistic director. But it was just an interesting takeaway that I had from that. And I am performing this season in our main stage show, and I'm continuing to make that a priority. But I think it's figuring out like there won't be a perfect balance, but the balance
yeah,
that's the best for me, especially
yeah.
because as a leader, you have to delegate the things that aren't the best for you.
Yeah. What are you like? Because I'm not sure about all the different types of roles out
Hmm.
there. So like, so the way I
Yeah.
cannot approach this is to be like, what if you try this? And what if you try? That's not that.
Yeah.
It is not
Yeah.
going to be that kind of combo, right?
No, yeah.
I like I think that the two things that are coming through for me right
Hmm.
now is like um a part of me just wants to like trust that you already know the answer to this one here, Kelsey,
Yeah.
and like you're just not saying it. Like it almost feels like we can spend a lot of time like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I feel like I'm like, what if you already know what it is that you want? Let me just check that. Like, do you know what it is that you want? And is this more about like, are you being courageous enough to go and do it because no one tapped you on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Kelsey, I think you'd be great at doing this XYZ thing over here."
Yeah.
Like, do you already have that answer? Let me just check in.
I think I do have that answer, and it's
Okay.
just like giving myself the freedom
Yeah.
to do what I want to do next without feeling like I have to do it as like representing a company. I think that when you
Yeah.
feel like you have to represent those certain parameters of the company that you're involved with, so I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit more artistic autonomy for
Yeah.
me personally, and
Yeah.
bringing that into I mean, I've had ideas of producing an opera, like filmed opera,
Hmm.
creating, directing a movie type, like feature length movie type opera, like chamber opera. Those
Yeah.
are kind of things I see in the long term as like long term goals, but it's financing it, like getting
Okay.
the team together, getting all of the parts in place. But I think that it's interesting because I have so many visions for what I want to do, but it's like, but what's the like really good one that's gets me excited?
Okay, so there's kind of like two parts with this here.
Hmm.
One, if I'm getting you right, because like I'm just gonna keep practicing this, Kelsey.
Hmm.
I'm be like, Kelsey, what do you want? Tell me what you want. Let's go get it. What do
Yeah.
you want here, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm getting you right, you're like what you want to do is be able to produce an opera that'll be a filmed, recorded one, like full length, all that here. Like that's what you want, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, then you went into like there's so many like there's funding that's necessary,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But then you went into like there's so many different ways to do to like or there's so many different like opportunities and things like that. Like
Mhm.
let me see that. Is it because you're like I'm not sure which like full length opera? Am I saying that right? Like is that
Yeah.
like or filmed off or like give me a way to describe
Mhm.
this. What do I call it? Give me a what would you call it?
I would just it's a movie opera
Thank
basically.
you.
It's an
Movie
opera
opera.
as a yeah, we could say
Yeah.
movie opera, which
Movie
this
opera.
it wouldn't be the first one. There are others out there, so it's not like it's not groundbreaking, but
Yeah.
I do have a specific opera in mind. So
Okay.
I don't want to release like all of the details
That's
about it.
fine.
Just
That's fine. That's fine. So like, yeah,
yeah.
I want to move in there. So,
Mhm.
because what I want to look at is like where the edge is. So you
Mhm.
can, I would trust you to tell me like, hey, I got a specific opera in mind. I have this, that, and
Mhm.
the other, and this, that, and the other, right? Then we get to go in and say, because this really becomes like, how do we create
Mhm.
what you want? Like you're artistically creative, so how do
Mhm.
we create what you want? So I'm just gonna say like all the other options I do not care about. Like just
Yeah.
not interested, right? Like I care about like because I know you're gonna get
Mhm.
you have people in your world. You can they can all have those conversations with you. I only care
Yeah.
about what is the thing that Kelsey wants to bring to life. So there's an
Mhm.
opera that she wants to make into a movie opera, and like that's what we're gonna work on. You know,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So
Awesome.
given that we're going to bring together this movie opera, whatever
Mhm.
it ends up being, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest like what's the biggest thing that's slowing you down, or the biggest like obstacle to overcome right now?
Any kind of directing film project, it's a long process
Okay.
to get it off the ground.
Yes.
So it's just making sure that there's like alignment in timing and planning and bringing the right people on board to make it happen organically. I think that there are so many different things that I do that I'm used to with putting together like a staged opera that we're doing.
Mm,
We start year and a half out. Like I can tell
okay.
you we plan 2 seasons ahead for what our 2028 is, right?
Yeah.
So in the producer world, that's I'm used to that with live performance, but I don't
Okay.
have the experience of that with film, and it can take longer because of XYZ, just so many different moving parts. I think that I also feel this need to have whatever is being created by me to make sure that it will resonate with audiences. I don't
Mm,
really want to be doing a vanity project with it. I want it to be something that people are like, this is really cool. This is exciting. Like, I really want to see this, and this is a new conception or a different way of viewing it. So I think that those are the things that, like, for me, are really important. And I don't know
yeah.
that I've fully convinced myself yet
Yeah. Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
art that I'm creating is for everybody else, that it's something that other people want to consume. So,
Okay. All right. It's a big chart, so I get it. I get it.
mhm,
Like so, the but when you say that and you talk about the art you're creating for everyone, I'm like, there's I've heard of some people just like kind of just like getting it. They just like randomly get
mhm,
go. I'll use virality of it. Like so,
mhm,
like
mhm,
there's like random viral where it's just like it
mhm,
just happened to become a meme and go.
mhm,
And then there's also like engineered virality
mhm,
where they're like, okay, we tested 6 different things. We know what we know tends to work.
mhm,
We put it in front of a lot of different audiences. We saw which
mhm,
ones like started to go and so on and so forth. And then like once we saw what was working, we ended up like juicing that all the way up. Like I think about like comedians, right?
mhm.
They're traveling all over like the intended area to find out like what works in every single market to get the tightest thing that gets the most people all around the thing to go. And then they
Yeah.
make a Netflix special and they're like, haha, I'm just really funny, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So like so there's a part of me that's really curious about like all right, Kelsey, are you in a place right now where where you're like I think I just have to make the right bet on like what's gonna get there and just like kind of get like the random virality, or are we more in a place of like being like okay, let's actually explore like if we're going to turn this into a multi-year process to be able to like what would be the process that you would go through to see like what would actually resonate with people across the way, which one of those two feels like more you? And maybe there's a
I'd
third option I'm not even thinking
yeah,
about.
I'd say definitely the second one. So I'll
Okay.
tell you a little bit of like my process with creating seasons. I have a
Yeah.
lot of orchestrated planting. I'd say like earworms, different
Yeah.
Easter eggs. If you're familiar with Taylor Swift, she's a genius with this, that I
Mm.
try to plant throughout the season to
Mm.
see what an audience response will be to something. So they might not know what our next season programming is, but they're being given little pieces of what might be coming down the line in the season prior. So I'm kind of using that in how I'm developing everything for Loveland Opera Theater season to season, using that mode. And I have a specific one, and I've done a couple of little kind of small little incubator pieces for like, do people like this idea?
Yeah.
To kind of introduce myself. I've learned one of the roles from the opera that I'm interested in doing, and I'm trying to create conversations in communities where I'm getting a little bit more feedback from our audiences, because it's so funny. Like, opera, people think it's like a very niche genre of classical music,
Yep.
but the stories that we're telling
Mm.
are so varied, and there's such a broad scope of different genres that you're hitting on between we're just musically translating a feeling. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because I think that once you know what feeling that you want to translate, so like personally, I love a psychological thriller. Like if I were to say a movie genre or something like, or an opera genre, there are lots of
Yeah.
psychological thriller operas. So if that's something that I personally gravitate toward because I love playing characters that are a little bit like fighting that inner turmoil or have something that they're going through, that's what I want to work on personally for me. I also love romantic operas and the whole drama, the Madame Butterfly, the La Boheme, all of that. But that's like, that's pretty cliche. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, our audience is going to not only go with the operas that they know and love, the safe bets, will they follow this journey into a different genre, something they weren't expecting to come from opera? Will they follow me there? So that's kind of what I'm working on and curating and getting us through this process to where I feel like, okay, this is something that they want.
So it sounds to me like you might have already answered your own question on this here. Like, let me just check in and see.
Yeah.
Like, don't like, and don't just say it to like make me feel good. Like, I'm okay with
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm listening to this. I'm like, it seems like you have a process. It seems like you have like a place. It seems like you know, like you do these like Easter egg little snippets. You plan it throughout the season. Like you're
Hmm.
the queen of earworms. Like you're playing in on these things here, and you have incubators going on. Like you have all these different like mechanisms in place. I just want to check in and see like, am I missing something? Like, are these like it sounds like you have a plan on how to know whether people will want it or not. Let me check in with you on that.
I think I have the plan on knowing whether they'll want it or not. I think that I'm just nervous. I'm like so nervous to
Hmm.
pull the trigger on it
Yeah.
because I'm always, you know, four kids running an opera company, wanting to do
Yeah.
my own production that's
Yeah.
separate from the opera company. It's like,
Yeah.
do I have the bandwidth? Do I have
Oh,
enough
okay.
experience under my belt in these other things? Am I doing a good enough job managing all of the other roles
The
to
other
do
so
this?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I appreciate your integrity.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You said, do I have enough experience under my belt? I'm like, this is someone who always comes from like whatever, like from the
Yeah.
bottom to the top, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, so the experience part is actually like the least interesting question you could have brought to this table. No offense, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, like you literally yeah. So I don't have any of the traditional experience that most people would think you would need to be able to be the executive director of a thing, but like an artistic director, but like I am, you know.
Hmm.
So like experience for you like is not a linear thing.
Hmm.
Like you're not a checkbox person to get to your next role. Like you
Yeah.
like right. So I'm
You're
like,
right.
yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how to answer that question. Like you told me like that's not your outlier path. You like that's the
Yeah.
normal path, but your outlier path is a different one. So I'm not worried about that for
Yeah.
you. No
Yeah, that's
offense.
true. No,
Okay.
no offense taken. It's good to hear that because that's actually something I was thinking about. I'm like, if anything comes up I don't know how to do, I just figure it out. So
Yeah.
I would do the same thing with this project, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And you also like you're not alone. Like you've been
mhm,
doing good work, you know? Like what I get about you is that like you're not like you're like the people you make the people around you succeed, you know? And so sometimes I find that like when you're doing that, like a lot of us are just waiting for our chance to be like, so can we help you succeed? Like you've been doing like, you know, so that like even if something didn't work out perfectly, I feel like
mhm,
you have the people around you who be able to rally around and be like, all right, like Kelsey, like what do you need from us? You know, the question is, would you be
mhm.
able to ask? That one I'm not sure. You know, I could always feel like in the professional side, I get the sense that you're like, I gotta take care of this for the company. We're doing what is necessary.
Mhm,
Like this is how I'm
mhm,
going to show up as a leader. But this is something that like feels like it's more for you. And I wonder if you
mhm.
would actually go and make the asks that are required to that would be required to make that come to life.
I think I could definitely ask those questions if I felt that the people were mutually like inspired by the project. If I felt like their
Okay.
heart was in it, I think that that
Okay.
would matter to me a lot because I think
Okay.
that so many people in this industry, they get pretty burnt out or they're
Yeah.
asked to do a lot of outrageous things that they don't believe in and they just have to
Yeah.
do it because they're being told that that's the project that you were hired to do. So
Yeah.
I think I want a certain level of like personal investment and like
Yeah.
for them to be authentically excited about what we're creating.
Nice. And like I'll offer this to you. I don't know how this like just keep this in there in your
Hmm.
back pocket. Like there's just something I get about like you and the genuine care and like level that you bring to it where I'm like you might have that extra X factor and I don't know you like out there but where people may not be like they may not get into like you know I need to do this movie opera and it needs to
Hmm.
be whatever like but they're
Hmm.
like but what their heart in is like Kelsey's always been there for me. She's found a way
Hmm.
to do this. This is something that like she really wants and like my heart's in that not because I'm being
Hmm.
told to do it because she's like my boss or this or that or like whatever
Hmm.
it is but like it's like I feel you might be also able to tap into something where it's like even if they don't love the project, they may just love being able to do a project that you love with you. All right, so
Hmm.
just keep
Hmm.
yourself open to that as well. You open to that?
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, I need you to love what I'm doing. It's like no, but I love you, and so I'm in on it. You know, like that's as
Yeah.
far as that like yeah, that's as
Hmm.
far as I need to go.
Yeah.
Um, you talked about energy too,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so let's talk about that, right? Because again, this is like there's things you're bringing up, and I want to be real. Like you're a real person, you have real life here. You can come and talk to me. We're just getting to know each other. Like you
Hmm.
can talk about like things, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. Like let's go and do more of that, you know.
Hmm.
But like you also know what it took. You know, so like
Hmm.
you're like, all right. I auditioned when I was pregnant, right? And by mine, I was
Hmm.
8 months pregnant. But I don't know how
Yeah.
but it was 8 months. All right.
Yeah.
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 So like I have two kids. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of pregnant, you know?
Hmm.
So I look at this, I'm like, okay, from an energy perspective, your life has a lot going on, right?
Hmm.
You have a lot of responsibilities, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
And yet you keep like you've already like created more from an energy like what like than most of the even
Hmm.
just like the energy of getting four humans into the world like that's a lot of like you know
Hmm.
so I listened to this and I think that there's a part of me that's like that wants to get beneath the surface of the energy because you've
Hmm.
it's like it feels like it's always showed up for you when you needed it to
Hmm.
so let me check in there I also recognize I've been talking for a while so I want to also check in.
Oh, you're fine. No, I think the energy shows up when I need it to be there. But I
Mhm.
think that you can notice the more you take on when things start to slip through the cracks or that
Okay.
something becomes, it's good enough, but it's not where I want it to be. And so
Yes.
I think for a project that I would be really, truly proud of, I
Mhm.
want to bring, because a film, it's not a production, with live theater, you get a different chance to recreate the same thing that you've been working on, at least when you're doing the six performances or however many performances of that show that you're doing. To do film, it feels like there's a sense of more permanence, more of a like this is going to be here. This is going to follow you. You're putting your name on it, and you're putting your name on it as the producer director of it. And so I think that just because I almost just see it so much in my head, I want to get it out there in a way that I'm like, okay, this is what I'm proud of, and I didn't let other things fall through the cracks or by the wayside. So I think it's just understanding the energetic investment in being prep you're never going to be prepared part of the part like you said
Hmm.
this kind of earlier. There's not always like by this time I'm going to be ready. I think that it's
Hmm.
just like when when is it the right time with the other things that I'm juggling for
Hmm.
me to take on this and get it done in a way that I can be proud of? Because there's sometimes you do a project and it's like I learned the music, I sang it, wasn't my best performance, but then it's over and then you move on. And there are things like that that you have to just let go. But then there's
Hmm.
also the things that you really just are like, no, this can't be that. So,
Mm. Okay. So there's a couple different things that are coming to me as you say
mhm,
this. You mind if I play with you a little bit, and then we'll start
yeah,
wrapping up for today.
yeah.
Um, is this like when you get done this movie opera, will this be the last movie opera you would ever create?
No, I don't think so. I think I have an idea of two that go together.
Okay. So I'm saying that right here because
Mhm.
there's an element of this that feels like permanence,
Yeah.
like it's gonna live out there forever. I think about like a live show or like live performances. I'm like, you don't get a second chance. You can't be like cut, do that again.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
just like whatever happened was what happened, you
Hmm.
know? And so I asked like, but one of the things I also feel like I hear from you is well, we get another day, we get another season, we get another this, and
Hmm.
so I'm wondering if we can create that kind of like freedom for you. That like I really feel like freedom
Hmm.
is there with live. I'm like, well, how do we create more freedom? I'm like, you got to do different takes. Like you didn't like it, do it again. Like I'm
True.
like, how is that less free than like you have to be on not like at this time in this location at this like I'm like
Hmm.
I'm missing something. So like you help calibrate that for me.
It could totally be like my perception of it. I think my husband actually just did like a film project
Yeah.
that he was acting on, and he's like, you don't even always have to have your lines memorized, and that's so opposite of like the opera world. So I think I'm probably like applying some of
Yeah.
my experiences with the rigidity that classical music, opera like
Mhm.
really has, and applying that to that's how the film experience will be. And that was good. That was a good question because it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that.
Not at all. Like they could record one day and then come and
Hmm.
just like perform it another like you can separate you
That's
have
kind of how it would have to be. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And so
hmm.
yeah, I think the question I would like you to live into, Kelsey, is like, what if this was easy? You
Hmm.
know? What if this was like energizing, like the act itself was energizing. Like there's something
Hmm.
here where I think you're great and it makes sense why you're so successful, where you're able to get ahead of things and be like, what is it going to take to make this come to life? You know?
Hmm.
And so I hear you in that.
Hmm.
Um, but this is your project.
Hmm.
Like this is something that like you get to bring in I don't know, like when you're asking like will I not have the energy for it? I'm like, I could see you giving 100% of your energy to everything you're doing right now
Hmm.
and then be like, huh, looks like there's a whole other tank of energy because now I got to go do my thing, you
Hmm.
know? Um,
Hmm.
I get more interested in the questions of where would you get energy during that time? So what are the things that energize you? What are the things that that will keep you kind of like if there's a lot going on during this period of time, like what are you doing to make sure that your cup keeps getting full? That feels like a place to go play with. You don't have to answer it right now, but I'm
Hmm.
putting like, some things
Hmm.
that I think they're right. So what will keep your energy going well? You talk about your husband right now. You talk about your kids. What will keep their energy going? Right? Because
Hmm.
you may have to come and make some asks of them, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
all right, what are there exchanges that will come in so that you're like, hey, look, by the way, during this time, I'm going in and I'm going to be nourished just because I'm building my movie opera.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Mhm.
I'm going to be good, you know? But I'm going to
Mhm.
need you to watch the kids a little bit more. Like, I need more flexibility with XYZ. What can we be
Mhm.
doing right now so that this time is even more energetically like exciting for you, you know? And it's like, I think about like who are the other partners in there and like
Mhm.
that you can get in and be like, all right, almost like if we can craft this to be an incredible experience where they look back and
Mhm.
someone at the end of it is like, you should go make another movie opera because like whatever happened
Mhm.
here, that was one of the best XYZ times of our lives. Like
Yeah.
that's what I would be thinking about rather than how's it going to be taken away from what it is. Like I think this is about to add something really, really meaningful and awesome and special to your life and the people around you. And I think that from your creative energy, like I would put my energy into that rather than like
Mhm.
how do I just kind of like manage with what I got right now? Because I don't think that's what this one's supposed to be.
Yeah. And energy isn't like limited.
Oh no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kelsey.
So
I think we might be there. Tell me here what's been your biggest insight from this conversation so far?
I think the biggest insight from our discussion, I think we talked about it earlier on. I was like, well, do you want to know about me or do you want to know about my company? Because I'm always the mouthpiece for other people, other projects, other things. So it was really um, insightful to sit and talk about what I'm interested in doing and like kind of discovering that um, talking through the conversation and looking at it with a different lens of like my perception of what it's going to be like versus what the reality could probably be are so different, and I shouldn't just expect the it to be like this albatross kind of thing. It's like, no, it's probably going to be something that fuels me if it's the right thing for me to be doing. If I have the passion, it will fuel me. So,
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I often say, Kelsey, um, I've given up on trying to know what people will really take out of this, but like
hmm
I love it, like because the question we're talking about happened before we even hit record. You
hmm
know, like you already got what you needed before we even
hmm
started, you know, and
hmm
that's the kind of stuff that I'm so in your corner. I'm so in your corner. We're gonna wrap this
okay,
podcast part of it right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but let's talk after we get done here. Outliers. I'll wrap up with you right now. I will see you in the outsides after this, but until then, be you on purpose. Journey on.